The hidden side of aging, 8 realities that no one talks about. Aging is a journey that every one of us must face, whether we like it or not. It is an experience steeped in both wisdom and sorrow, filled with moments of reflection, cherished memories, and the inevitable slowing down of our bodies. But there is an untold side of aging, one that is often brushed under the rug because it's uncomfortable, unsettling, and perhaps even ugly. No one tells you how difficult this transition can be, not just for the elderly but for the people who love and care for them. We often hear stories about how aging is a time for quiet reflection, wisdom, and the joy of family gatherings, but the harsh truth is that it is not always so graceful. Today, we will delve deep into these uncomfortable truths about aging, the side that is not often celebrated but is just as real. This isn't meant to shame or criticize, but rather to help us understand, prepare, and offer the patience, empathy, and compassion that our aging loved ones deserve. By the end of this video, I hope you'll gain insight into the struggles that many seniors face as they navigate this stage of life. Let's face it, aging isn't always as beautiful as the stories we are told. Sometimes, it's messy, sometimes it's frustrating, and sometimes it's downright ugly, but understanding these changes will help us show greater love and care for those we cherish. 1. Unfiltered opinions and bluntness. There's a strange truth about aging: the older people get, the more likely they are to speak their minds without a filter. Seniors can sometimes make uncomfortably blunt remarks about someone's appearance, lifestyle choices, or even their food preferences. This is often shocking and can be perceived as rude, but it's not an intentional act of cruelty, it's simply part of the aging process. Why does this happen? As we age, the brain's ability to regulate impulsive behavior weakens. The regions responsible for social awareness and impulse control start to deteriorate, leading many seniors to speak without considering how their words might impact others. It can also be a result of memory decline or simply frustration from not being heard in other areas of life. Imagine an elderly grandfather attending a family reunion, sitting at the dinner table, and suddenly blurting out, "This steak's too tough to chew, why do they always serve us this crap?" While this may embarrass the younger family members, the reality is that his bluntness comes from his inability to filter thoughts, not from rudeness. This story exemplifies how growing older can lead to a loss of social tact. This behavior may be uncomfortable, but it's important to remember that it is not an intentional attack. It's a result of changes in the brain. When it happens, try not to take it personally. Instead, approach it with understanding and patience. 2. Neglecting personal hygiene. Personal hygiene often becomes a challenge as we age. For some seniors, grooming and personal care routines such as showering, brushing their teeth, or even changing clothes may become difficult, and eventually, they may neglect these activities. But it isn't because they're lazy, it's a mix of physical, mental, and emotional factors. Story: picture a senior grandmother who once prided herself on her appearance. Over time, she starts skipping showers, wears the same clothes for days, and refuses to brush her teeth. Family members notice, growing concerned. The reasons behind this neglect are not due to laziness but are often the result of joint pain, memory loss, or depression. Imagine how difficult it must be for her to navigate these challenges. Physical ailments like arthritis can make basic tasks feel impossible. Mental health challenges like depression can rob seniors of the motivation to take care of themselves. And dementia or memory loss can make daily routines hard to remember. It's important to approach this situation with empathy and care, recognizing the root causes rather than becoming frustrated. 3. Hoarding and clutter. Hoarding is another reality that often emerges as people age. Seniors may begin to collect items that seem insignificant to others: old newspapers, expired food, or random knickknacks. Over time, these items pile up and create an unsafe, cluttered environment. Hoarding can be a coping mechanism that provides a sense of control or helps preserve memories. Picture an elderly man in his 80s, living in a home filled to the brim with old newspapers and empty jars. His children try to help clean up, but he stubbornly insists on keeping these items. To others, it seems like junk. But for him, each item represents a piece of his past, his sense of security, and a way to hold on to the memories of a life well lived. For many seniors, hoarding is an emotional response to aging. They fear losing everything, including their memories. It's not about valuing clutter, it's about clinging to what they know in a world that feels increasingly out of their control. Recognizing hoarding behaviors early on can help family members intervene before it becomes a health and safety hazard. 4. Stubbornness and resistance to change. One of the most frustrating traits of aging is the resistance to change. Many seniors cling to their routines, refusing to accept medical advice or allow others to help. It's a natural instinct to fear the loss of independence and autonomy. The idea of becoming dependent on others can be terrifying. A senior father refuses to get help with his mobility issues. Despite his family's repeated suggestions, he insists on walking alone, even though he's been falling more often. His refusal to change is not out of stubbornness but out of a deep-seated fear of losing control over his life. This resistance to change can be rooted in fear of becoming a burden, fear of losing independence, or even fear of facing the reality of aging. While it's difficult for caregivers and family members, understanding that this behavior is driven by fear can help us approach the situation with more patience and care. 5. Overspending or extreme frugality. Aging can bring about strange financial habits. Some seniors may begin to overspend, buying things they don't need or falling victim to scams. Others may become excessively frugal, avoiding even the most basic purchases, such as necessary medications or home repairs. Both extremes are often a response to an uncertain future. Imagine an elderly woman who, despite having limited resources, keeps buying things she doesn't need, new clothes, gadgets, and trinkets, just to fill the emptiness in her life. On the other hand, another senior might refuse to buy basic items like medicine or repair their leaky roof, fearing they'll run out of money. This financial instability can stem from anxiety about the future and a sense of vulnerability. Seniors might overspend to make themselves feel better or hoard their resources out of fear of running out. Recognizing these behaviors early on can help caregivers step in to manage their finances and protect them from harm. 6. Refusing medical help. Seniors often refuse to see doctors or take medications, believing they know their bodies best. This refusal can stem from fear of being diagnosed with something serious, fear of losing their independence, or fear of becoming a burden to their family. A senior man avoids seeing the doctor, even though he's been experiencing severe chest pain. He says, "I don't need a doctor. I know my body." But the truth is, he is terrified of hearing bad news and being told he's not as healthy as he once was. Encouraging seniors to see their doctor can be challenging, but understanding their fear can help guide them through the process with more compassion. In some cases, family members may need to take on the responsibility of arranging appointments and providing emotional support. 7. Emotional withdrawal or sudden anger. As people age, loneliness and physical health problems can lead to emotional withdrawal or sudden outbursts of anger. Seniors may not know how to express what they're feeling or may become easily frustrated by their limitations. An elderly grandmother, once the life of every family gathering, suddenly becomes quiet and withdrawn. At family dinners, she snaps at her children for no apparent reason. Her family is confused, not understanding that it's not about them, it's a reflection of her own internal struggles. Emotional withdrawal and anger are often signs of deeper emotional issues, such as depression or frustration with aging. By acknowledging these feelings and addressing the underlying causes, family members can help their loved ones regain emotional balance. 8. Talking about death constantly. As seniors approach the end of their lives, thoughts of mortality become more frequent. It's natural for them to reflect on their past, their accomplishments, and their regrets. Talking about death may be a way for them to process their feelings, seek reassurance, or ensure their affairs are in order. An elderly father constantly brings up his funeral plans, asking his children to make sure they'll take care of his wife when he's gone. His children are disturbed by the conversation, but for him, it's a way of preparing himself and his family for what's coming. Conversations about death can be unsettling, but it's important to understand that seniors are not necessarily obsessed with dying, they are just coming to terms with the reality of their life's end. These discussions are often about closure, legacy, and the desire for peace of mind. Aging is not just about growing old, it's a transition into a new phase of life. It comes with both beautiful and painful moments, challenges and triumphs. The behaviors we discuss today may seem uncomfortable, even ugly, but they are all part of the human experience. As our loved ones age, they need not our frustration or judgment, but our patience, compassion, and understanding. If you have an aging loved one in your life, approach them with kindness, patience, and empathy. The struggles they face, whether physical, emotional, or behavioral, are part of the aging process. By understanding these challenges, we can offer the love and care that they so deeply deserve. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue to bring meaningful conversations to light. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, so you never miss an important discussion. Join our community by subscribing to the channel, and let's continue learning, growing, and supporting each other on this journey through life. Together, we can embrace aging with love, dignity, and understanding. Sign 3: Cognitive decline and confusion. Another sign you may notice is cognitive decline. This is not just a small forgetfulness, but the inability to recognize familiar people or even important life events. This cognitive decline can be related to diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia, and often becomes more severe in the later stages of life. It is important to recognize this, as it helps us prepare for changes and adjustments in care. A grandmother of mine, who was previously very alert and had a good memory, suddenly started forgetting family members' names and frequently asking questions that had already been answered. These were the telltale signs that I noticed. At first, my family was not too worried, but as the condition persisted and became more severe, we began to seek medical help. Dementia affects not only the person with dementia but also creates disruption in the family. Sign 4: Shortness of breath or fatigue when breathing. Shortness of breath is a serious sign of declining lung or heart function. If an elderly person begins to breathe shallowly, breathes rapidly or has periods of rapid breathing, it could be a sign of heart disease or lung-related conditions. This is one of the most easily recognizable signs, but it is also one of the most serious signs when we realize that their body is losing its ability to provide enough oxygen to the body. I remember the first time I witnessed a family member struggling to breathe after walking a short distance. He was previously very healthy and could walk for hours without any problems. When I saw him gasping for breath like that, I realized that his health was rapidly declining. This is a warning sign that we cannot ignore. Sign 5: Withdrawal from social activities. When an older person begins to withdraw from social activities, family and friends, it can be a sign that they are preparing for a major change in their life. It is not always a sign of depression, but it can be that they no longer feel the energy or interest to participate in social activities as before. This is a sign that needs to be recognized so that they can be supported and encouraged when necessary. An uncle in my family, who used to participate in organizing meetings and playing chess with friends, suddenly started to refuse appointments and conversations. We thought he just needed time to rest, but gradually realized that he was no longer interested in those activities. When we realized this, our family began to find ways to support him, not forcing him to participate but always being there, talking gently to make him feel secure. Sign 6: Frequent infections. One of the signs that an older person's body is failing is frequent infections, especially infections that the body can't fight off effectively. Respiratory infections, urinary tract infections, or pressure sores are obvious examples. These problems indicate that their body is no longer able to protect itself as well as it used to. I have seen older family members who have experienced recurring infections. Each time, they take longer to recover, and they are no longer able to fight off common illnesses. This is a clear sign that we cannot ignore. Sign 7. Sudden changes in appearance. Another sign that we may see is a sudden change in appearance and personal hygiene habits. When an elderly person no longer takes care of themselves as before, it may be because their health or mental ability is no longer sufficient to maintain these habits. This is a sign that cannot be ignored, as it reflects a general decline in physical and mental health. A grandmother in my family, who used to pay a lot of attention to her appearance and always maintained a habit of taking care of herself, suddenly became less interested in bathing or brushing her hair. At first, I thought she was just bored or tired, but later, we discovered that she no longer had enough health and energy to do these things. When we noticed this change, our family began to find ways to support her more in taking care of herself. Cherish the last time. The signs that we have just shared today, although very subtle, play an important role in helping us recognize changes in the elderly's body. Recognizing these signs is not easy, but it helps us to take the best care of our loved ones, giving them comfort and respect in their final days. Don't forget, every moment with the elderly is priceless. Always remember that our love and care are the most precious gifts we can give to our loved ones when they need us most. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel to support useful content on how to care for the elderly and issues related to aging. Thank you for watching.